Welcome. Check it out with Jessica Lee. I'm here with Rich Goldman, who's head of marketing at Lumerical, a subsidiary of ANSYS. Those who are following the simulation market knows how big ANSYS is as a huge engineering simulation provider. And Lumerical provides light simulation for a lot of industries. So Rich, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Jessica. It's just a great pleasure to be here with you today.
I know we're all sheltering in place and you're actually on a houseboat. How fantastic.
Yeah, I am. I'm on a boat in the San Francisco Bay, and what better place to quarantine than on a boat?
Yes. Well, I can see it's very bright lighting in the back, so we're in a nice weather to enjoy the outdoor living. And lighting is something that you're very familiar with. But in particular, I'm fascinated with the story that Lumerical started out by three very technical engineers who decided we're going to build a fantastic product, and then consumers or customers will arrive, right? And for a while, they did a great job becoming very well known in this market. But you came in and drove the revenue up by almost 50% more through your marketing strategies. And I wanted to have you talk with us about that journey.
Well, I don't think I can take complete credit for the increase in revenue. And I do want to say that the company was very successful through 20 years of a focus on, just typical engineering focus of a founder, which is we're going to build the best product possible and we're going to support our customers as well as we possibly can. And that's been very successful for Lumerical, which does photonic simulation. So simulation at a very fine level for light waves. And that's worked for 20 years. And those three founders are still with us after 20 years. However, there was not much of a focus on marketing and what marketing could bring to the company. And so I joined the company just a few years ago because I thought photonics was the next great technology after semiconductors. And it's just a great company with great people and great technology. And so as I joined, I realized that the company's model is really based on a free trial on their website. And so people would find that free trial, use the software for 30 days, and then if they liked it, then they could go on to talk to a sales representative who would then sign them up to buy the software. Well, that happens to be a real inbound marketing type strategy, even though that's not what the company was thinking about when they set that up. I think we call that unconsciously competent in an area. But there really had been no focus on marketing. So with a inbound marketing strategy like that, and recognizing that it's an inbound strategy for marketing, what you want to do is drive people to that trial. And so there's a lot of different ways that you need to do that, starting with awareness, and then driving through with a content marketing strategy as people move through the funnel and getting them the information, the content that they need at the right point. So the whole focus is on getting the right content to the right people, the right person at the right time.
Yeah, and the people that you are targeting are actually very technical. They are mainly engineers. Is that right?
Not only are they engineers, they almost all typically have a PhD in physics around light. So, a very, very small set of people.
And so when we talk about content marketing, you're providing very technical content because that's what really they want to talk about, right? And you found that actually on LinkedIn is very effective as a vehicle to reach them.
That's right, Jessica. Social media works with engineers, but it's very different from marketing of social media to like B2C, like selling Coca-Cola or something. And I found that out 25 years ago when I was running corporate marketing at Synopsys. And at the time, I realized that the social media stuff is brand new, but it's going to be really important. So we better get very good at it as not with our customer base. And so I went out to learn about it, and I found out that, well, there's a lot of information out there. You can go to a conference in Silicon Valley every week, and there's a webinar every day. But very little of it was focused on B2B. It was all B2C. And as I learned about how to do social media marketing B2B, I realized that our customer base is actually even different from typical B2B. Our customer base is engineers, and engineers use social media differently than most other people. You know, engineers are typically, well, they're very often introverted, and they spend a lot of time in their office interfacing with their computer, and they want to solve a problem. They're they're totally driven by problem solving, and that's what their whole life is about. At least their work life. And so they don't want to be distracted by things that don't help them with their work. And so in social media, how they typically use uh, social media is they want to get, they have an issue, they have a problem, kind of stuff. Want to go out and find the answer to that problem. They want to find out how I can resolve that problem and get right back to their work. And so one thing that they don't like is, like I said, anything that distracts them from that, which is marketing. So it's a big challenge. How do you do social media marketing to an audience that's not typically as social as others? They disdain marketing. If you send them what they consider marketing BS, they will turn your channel completely off. And by the way, it's engineers that created social media. So uh, they wrote the programs. They created the computer chips. They did all the underlying technology. So the challenge was, how do you market to engineers that is totally antithesis to the word social media and marketing. So we developed a methodology. We understood that just the things that I was saying to you, you can market to them. You can use social media very well and effectively to them, but don't send them any marketing BS. Don't send them fluff. Send them good technical information that they find valuable, and use the channels that they use. Uh, Twitter, they're not that much on Twitter, somewhat. So if you want to send an announcement of a new product that they might find useful, okay. Facebook is that's okay. But the number one channel for engineers, and has been for decades now, is LinkedIn. And that's the place to focus with messaging to engineers, especially in LinkedIn groups where they gather with people with similar interests. And so we actually wrote a book about this experience because nobody was doing this back then. And we called G2G, Geek to Geek, social media marketing, because, well, engineers are geeks, and all the people who are on the side of design automation or simulation, we're geeks too. So it's our geeks communicating with our customer geeks, so G2G. And that's proved to be a good foundation for how to market to engineers over social media over the past 25 years. It still is consistent.
I think some of the interesting stories to share would be the use cases. Talk about the application of your technology in like autonomous driving, in all kinds of very fascinating ways that people can use it now that they didn't do before.
Right. So photonics is the use of light waves, and it's to basically replace electronics or computer chips. So today, the number one use is, well, number one is still research. It's a very nascent area still, very early. But number one is like fiber optics, putting signals through a waveguide rather than a copper conduit, and in the data center. Because data centers have big challenges with power. You're putting a lot of computing in one place. People like Facebook or Google or Amazon or Microsoft, they have these huge data centers. They have to power all those data centers, and all that activity heats things up a lot. So they replaced the copper wires going between the racks with fiber optics. Fiber optics are faster. It's got much more bandwidth, and it's much cooler. It doesn't. The wires don't heat up. The glass doesn't heat up, and so they can bring the air conditioning level down and use a lot less power. So that's happening, and we're bringing that onto the boards now. So we're going from 100 gigabit per second. We're transitioning to 200 gigabit per second. That transitions quite a way through, and now 400 gigabit per second. So the transceivers that go between the chips and the glass fibers, um, those are almost have to be photonics now because electronics are having difficulty keeping up with that. We're going to move to 800 gigabits per second. By then, I think that transition will be largely complete to photonics. Um, other applications are things like virtual reality and augmented reality. So that's a pretty cool area. You mentioned autonomous vehicles. So LiDAR, so that instead of using radar, using cameras and LiDAR, so that the cars get much more intelligent about what's around them. Instead of with radar just identifying that there's an object here, with LiDAR you can actually see what that object is, so the car can react much better. So photonics are the key for autonomous vehicles. Sensors in medical, for example, the sensors in here, all the great things with face recognition that you can do now with your phone, those are photonic sensors. And quantum computing, which of course is at the very beginning, and a technology that just blows everybody's mind, especially it definitely blows my mind. That'll be based on photonic simulation too.
Wow.
So it's quite a few interesting applications for photonics. Really
Wow.
exciting
Okay.
field.
Um, that's great. That's fascinating. And how exciting that you're head of marketing for this fascinating technology that is so impactful in many, many sectors. You've been so successful that I hear at ANSYS, other business or departments will be also implementing this marketing strategy. And so you're leading the change in how they go about doing the content marketing.
Well, it has. As I'm learning, I'm still very new, and since the acquisition was complete in April, just great marketers at ANSYS, and they come from many different backgrounds. Uh, ANSYS has done many acquisitions and is a absolute powerhouse, like you said, in simulation in all different domains. And so people have varying backgrounds. We did content marketing at Lumerical. We were quite lucky that there wasn't a lot of marketing laid down already, and that we could start from scratch and go through the entire process, starting with our personas and identifying our content and the customer's journey and mapping the content against the customer's journey and the persona so you get the right content to the right person at the right time, and then automating all this. And so at ANSYS, not everybody has had the opportunity to go through that entire process, and some people are strong in one area and others in other areas, and so a lot of people have been acquired. So by going through a content marketing process, we're going to have I think, a workshop over several weeks. We can all talk a common language. We can have common formats and templates, and we all can have a common experience. And ANSYS is doing quite well, and hopefully that will just improve uh, the quality of how ANSYS is doing.
Okay.
So I'm very excited about doing that.
Yes, I bet. I think that you mentioned how your career has moved along, and one of the best practice and tips that you would like to share is just to keep on learning. And you're an avid reader of marketing books, right? One of them you had mentioned to me about content marketing engineer. Talk to us about that.
Well, I have it right here. Hold on, let me get that book for you. And it's this book right here, Content Marketing Engineered, as you mentioned, by Wendy Covey. Uh, and it just came out. I think it just came out this past month, so it's brand new. It really resonated with me because as I read through it, I realized that, oh, that's very much the same process we went through that was so successful at Lumerical. And there's very little marketing content or marketing materials that applies to engineers. And this one does directly. And so it's something that, I just read it like that. It's just great. And it stays next to me now all the time. And this is the book that we'll be using as our guide as we go through our workshops at ANSYS, and we'll be referring to this and have everyone read the same book. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that one. I also like that it says build trust right on the cover, and I believe that that's a very big part of marketing. There's a book called The Speed of Trust by Stephen Covey Jr., which talks about how if you build trust, if you have trust, how much faster you can move in business relationships. And a lot of marketing is all about building trust. Don't promise something that you can't deliver. Um, the old thing of under promise and over deliver is absolutely true.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Rich, for sharing with us your industry fascinating stories here, and also the best practices in marketing to the very technical B2B marketing.
Absolutely. It's a great pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
There you have it. Take it up with Jessica Lee, Rich Goldman from Lumerical, part of ANSYS.